In this video, I make a little book cover out of some old art. I work on planning out a big new illustration, so there's lots of drawing for that and planning out colours and test pieces, and then actually start the illustration. I pack a few orders for my online shop. I have a little side embroidery project which I work on, and that's basically the video. If you would like to receive this month's Patreon print in the post, pledge to the little snips tier on my Patreon page at any point in the month of October and you'll get these two very cute mice in the post. It's an A5 print. Okay, on with the video. Hello, welcome to another video. I'm just about to go to the charity shop because I need to buy a book to cover in a piece of paper so it looks like a book that I made. I have spent the past day, I think just a day, making this. This is the original piece of art. I made this as a print and then I also turned all the birds into stickers just for a shop update, but I want to add it to my portfolio and I thought it'd be nice to turn it into a book cover just so it's, you know, give the art a piece of context. This is what it would look nice as. So I've turned it into a book cover. I want to print this off and stick it to a book so it looks like an actual book. And I need to buy a book from the charity shop. Any book that'll fit the right size. And similar to what I did with this one, I believe the book inside is a Minecraft book. But from the outside it is a book all about how to grow vegetables. So I'm going to try and film every day this week. To fill you in what I've been doing today, I spent an hour or so this morning adding finishing touches to my book cover, and then I spent quite a while redoing my portfolio. I got rid of loads of old work which no longer doesn't represent my art anymore and replaced it with new stuff. That took quite a while and I put together a PDF and I've sent that to my agent. She might turn around and be like, let's change this and that, but it's just a rough draft. I've sent it off just to see what she thinks. I need to go to the charity shop, buy a book. I also need to buy paper because I have nothing to print on. So, and plus I'm just desperately low on paper. I have quite literally no paper at the moment. So I'm gonna go to the art shop, which luckily is right next door to the charity shop, and I need to buy a bunch of paper and maybe some nice art supplies. I might be tempted. I am back. Here's what I got. Nothing too exciting really. Just some more paper. I couldn't decide between smooth or fine grain, so I just got both because they will get used. And then I just got some my go-to pencils, if anyone's curious. My favourite pencil is a Freebie Faber-Castell pencil. I love them. More of them. I was looking at all the lovely art supplies and I thought, no, I restrained myself because I thought, wait till Christmas, wait till my birthday. And then this is a book I got to cover with my own cover. I filmed just a few clips of me sticking this cover onto the book, edited down heavily. It actually took ages to put this on. It's so fiddly because you got to align it perfectly. Yeah, it was a lot harder than this video makes it seem. If you want to see like how I actually made this cover, like edited the art together and, you know, did all the work on Photoshop, I made a whole dedicated video about it over on Patreon. And there's also, at this point, I think around 50 videos on there, all about various different art projects where I go into loads of detail about how I make stuff, sketchbook tours. Yes, I think some of my best videos are on Patreon, so there's a little bit of promotion for Patreon. You'll get the access to lots of videos for £5. £5 for 50 videos. What's that per video? 10p? No, is it? Have I done the maths right? I can't figure it out. Anyway, you get the idea. Right, it's now the following day. It is Wednesday. It's now like 2 o'clock. We're getting pretty far into the day and I'm only just recording because the stuff I was doing this morning wasn't really recordable. I have just edited a video all about how I made the book cover you saw me doing, and that is now finished, so I can start uploading that to YouTube, get it uploaded to Patreon, and then I did my accounts. This is where I basically go through everything I earned last month and put it into a spreadsheet. Not something I can film and not something anyone would want to watch. And then I've been gathering inspiration because honestly I don't know what to do. I want to make something that I find fun, so I have gathered loads of pictures. I'm going to make this month's downloadable for Patreon. Obviously I'm going to make it Halloween theme. I'm just going to make some like Halloween decoration that people can print off and pop up around the house. I'm really inspired by that's the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. If anyone ever used to watch that show, I loved that show as a kid. I'm really inspired by the house, and then I want to do something kind of like that, but in more of this kind of style for the house. But this will be what it looks like, so it'd be, 3D a little bit, but not super 3D like, some of the stuff I've done like this. I'm going to combine all these different ideas together. I've started drawing a house. I'm going to draw a few because I'm fairly quick to do, and I'm going to just do a bunch of different designs. I'm also multitasking because I'm printing stuff at the same time. I accidentally printed the wrong thing. This is next month's Patreon print, so this month's, as this video is going out. So if you want this print, I already have a few of them printed. Pledge the little snips to my Patreon page at any point in the month of October. But the one I need to actually send out is this one. So I started printing a bunch of these. I obviously need chopping in half, but I've got to print, I think, 41 of them. So gradually getting through that. They all need chopping up and packaging up and sending off. So for these houses, I ended up drawing three. I think I did 3 different variations of houses. I just really enjoyed doing them. I used to find like houses really intimidating to draw, but then I just realised if you break it down into like just a bunch of shapes, you see here how I just start by just drawing just a bunch of random shapes really. Obviously I'm putting a little bit of thought into it, but just playing around with shapes, and then it looks a bit rubbish to begin with, but obviously you shade it and then you've got yourself a house. It works quite well. I think this way of drawing has kind of come from, like, obviously I collage a lot, and when I collage, I cut out mainly just a lot of like rectangles and squares, very kind of geometric shapes, and then that has wiggled its way into the way I draw. I kind of simplify everything down when I draw. I mean, it depends what I'm drawing. If I want to stylize something, I will tend to kind of draw it and imagine the shapes that I would cut out if I was to collage it, if that makes sense. Right, I'll leave you with some music. These houses are all they're similar but different. And I did different trees and just played around with houses. Although I did all this and I ended up going for the first one I did, which is typical. It's always the way, but I was having fun doing it, so I didn't mind. I'll leave you with some music for a bit. This is loosely the plan. I've started drawing it out, so it's going to fold like that, and this will be cut properly to whatever shape it ends up being, and then there's going to be a little thing in front that'll glue there, and then on the front there'll be little characters, kind of quite big, fairly big, about that size, with the little trick-or-treating bags walking towards the house, and then this side will just be all trees. I'm going to carry on drawing that. I have just about finished printing all my Patreon prints. There's a few more that I need to chop in half down there. So once I finish drawing this, I will take a break, package up all the Patreon prints. I need to print out thank you notes as well. Oh, look at this mess here. I dropped my pot full of sharpenings, and now I have this just a huge pile of stuff that I know if I wipe up is going to just make a huge smear of pencil across my desk. So I'm just leaving that for now. Once I've finished drawing this out, I will take a break to start packaging up Patreon prints. I do need to print thank you notes though. I need to design, well, basically I pick a sketch from my sketchbook and then turn that into a thank you note basically. And I need to print them off before I get packaging them all. Ideally I'd have everything packaged by the end of the day, and then tomorrow morning before I go to work I can do all the postage, because I also have a few orders to pack as well. I'm really enjoying this at the moment, and it's nice to be enjoying something, because at the start of the day I just really felt no motivation to make any new art, because I really hadn't, like, the motivation was so low, and then like inspiration as well. I just had no idea what on earth to make, but as soon as I saw like the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends house that I showed on my mood board, it just like reignited a thought I had when I was a kid. Like every time I watched that show as a kid, I really wanted to be able to draw the house, but obviously did not have the skill to do that. And now I'm like, hold on, I finally have the skill to do like a decent kind of higgledy-piggledy house. Let's fulfill my childhood dream of making my own Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends house, and make it Halloweeny. Moving on to the next day, this is Thursday morning, and I started by packing some orders. I tend to do, because I work on Mondays and Thursdays, well, and Sundays as well, but on Mondays and Thursdays I have the morning free, so I tend to save those days for, if I have orders to pack, I'll do them on either Monday or Thursday before I go to work. It's quite a nice little system, because I don't want to do anything too kind of challenging on the days I go to work, because otherwise that's a long day. That's a very long day if I'm working in the morning for Art of M stuff and then going to work for my job. It's too much. So I tend to do the lighter jobs on the Mondays and the Thursday mornings, like packing orders, which require little brain energy. Hello, it's Thursday, it's just about still morning. I've spent this morning, I am still in my pyjamas. Last night I managed to finish sketching this, although I still need to do the front section. I do have to go to work today. Thursdays I work, there you go, from 1 o'clock to 9 p.m. so I don't get back till quite late. But this morning I've packaged all my orders. I have done all the postage labels for the Patreon prints. I need to go to the post box, which I'll do on the way to work. And I have made the thumbnail for the bonus video on Patreon this month, all about how I actually made the book cover you saw me sticking on. Oh, and then I prepped some Patreon posts. But but that's about it. But that's just a little insight into what I can achieve on the days that I go to work. And for context, I go to work on Thursdays, Mondays and Sundays, although Sundays is only 5 hours instead of 8 hours. And it's basically just the morning I work. I'm a part-time art teacher, so I teach people of all ages from 6 to 60. I have kids classes and adult classes, and there you go. That's what I'm doing when I'm not here working on this stuff. Moving on to Friday, I was finishing off my sketch. To be honest, this whole thing turned into a much bigger project than I originally planned. Naive little me thought when I first came up with this idea that maybe I'd get it done in 2 days. Sketch it out plan it out for a few hours, then start making the final thing, and then, that would take maybe a day and a half, and then edit it all together and make the finished thing. Well, I gave myself a very big task, and the illustration I ended up kind of drawing on this, I realised this is a big piece to do, and still doing this voiceover, I haven't finished it. I finished the back illustration, but I haven't done the front section with the kids and the pumpkins, but that's obviously going to be much quicker. I don't know how I'm going to do the kids actually. I'm thinking maybe in watercolour, but that's something I'll figure out probably today at some point, but obviously it's not in this video. Then I moved on so on the Friday I finished off that sketch. It took me a while actually to draw the kids. I ended up just drawing them in sketchbook and then printing them off to be the right size to stick onto this thing. I just don't really draw people very often. I much prefer to draw animals, kind of anthropomorphic animals with human kind of bodies, if that makes sense. So just human faces. I'm just really picky about how I want them to look in my style, so it took me a while to draw those kids. It's something I want to get better at, and it's a goal of mine to work on to better my people drawing abilities, because I can draw them, but it's how do I want them to look in my style? That's what I'm struggling with. Anyway, then I moved on to planning out the colours. I was going to just go ahead and do it and just start painting it, but the more I thought about it, the more I kind of got scared by that thought, and I was like, this is a big piece. I'm going to plan it out first to make it easier down the line. So I spent a couple hours or so planning out the colours in Photoshop, and then because I was still feeling quite I was scared. This is a big piece. I don't do buildings ever, really. When's the last time I've painted a building? I can't even think. I never do buildings. I always just do nature. I really don't think I've ever collaged. Well, I mean, I've collaged buildings, but they've always been small little things in nature where the building is maximum 3 shapes cut out with a little bit of detail. That's about as much as I'll put into a building. So I was putting it off really. So I thought I would just play around with the trees on the left hand side of the piece, because I know I wanted this piece to be mixed media, and I've been really getting into my gouache and my pan pastels, and I'm trying to merge that into collage more, especially for my picture book illustrations, because I want to do children's books. This is the style I want it to kind of head into, as opposed to it being 100% collage, which a lot of my art is. If you've been around for a while, a lot of my art mainly used to be 100% collage, but now I'm starting to be more mixed media with including different things into it. And this was a fun little experiment. I really enjoyed this playing around. This was mainly just figure out how loose I wanted it to be, figure out the colours, and also just to procrastinate because I was scared to approach the real thing, and I was umming and ahhing, do I want to do the house in paint or do I collage the house? And that was a decision I made up until the last minute. When it actually came to doing the house is when I made that decision, and I collaged it in the end, but you'll see that in a little bit. So that was the plan. Obviously it's a little bit messier than the actual final piece would be, but again, I'm just playing around. And then I moved on to making the final piece. Did I? No, you'll see that in a bit. But first, this was on one of the days I tell you what happened. My boyfriend's parents came to visit on the weekend, so I ended up not filming any of those days. So I ended up refilming for the video just to make it, long enough and to actually film a whole week. So I skipped Saturday and Sunday because we had people visiting, and I carried on filming on Monday. So this is Monday morning before work. I didn't want to do anything too taxing because I was ill. I've been ill for like the past week. And I think I was feeling particularly rough on Monday, so I thought I'll take it chill before work and just finish this little embroidery I'd started the day before. I found this really tiny frame in this little flea market just down the road from where I live, and I thought, this is screaming to have a little embroidery in it. So I just did this little snail on a mushroom and spent the morning finishing that off, sticking it inside the frame. And that's all I did before work, truth be told, because I wasn't feeling too well. And then for the next couple of days, I worked on the final piece. Technically now we're getting into, this is a week of art and now we're into more of the second week. But I just thought I didn't want to leave this video on a cliffhanger of how did the final piece end up, because I'd spent so much of this video planning for it. So I thought I would extend the video a little bit to include the final piece. I didn't film much of it. I filmed barely any of it because I was feeling, like I mentioned, pretty rough, and I didn't, it was enough work to do the piece of art, let alone film it on top of it when I was feeling so bad. So I filmed a few clips, but not much. But at least it shows you a little bit of how it came together and doesn't leave you on a cliffhanger of how the piece turned out. I still need to do, like I mentioned before, I still need to paint the kids and the front section. I'm going to work on that after I finish editing this video. But that should take a lot less time than this piece, because goodness me, this was an undertaking. The house was collaged. The background is gouache, pan pastels, a little bit coloured pencil, and neo colours. Oh, and I think there's a little bit like the splotches I did on the trees for the leaves. That is acrylic gouache, because I needed it to be really opaque, and acrylic gouache is quite opaque. And here's the all the little steps of everything I did to make this piece come to life. I'm really happy with it. I still need to scan it in and make the digital version of it, just so I have, that to play around with on Photoshop to make the actual printout. But I'm really happy with it. I'm just going to be definitely going in the portfolio. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, it'd be lovely if you could like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, all those bits and bobs. Let me know if you have any questions about anything art related, or anything really. And that's all. Goodbye.